welcome to another episode of So It's Not Just Me, the podcast where we talk about how everyday things can affect our mental health. Today, we're going to talk about how the media and the film and TV industry can affect your mental health and your well-being, and some of the things that have affected our lives from being younger and going forward to today. So for that, I brought back Stacey, who's now a regular on the show. So thank you, Stacey.
Hi, no, I'm really excited to talk about this actually.
Good, good. Now, I think we're a little bit late to the game because it's been a few weeks now, but one of the things that really made me want to talk about this was Nicola Coughlan and everything that's been going on with her with Bridgerton. And I don't know if you've watched Bridgerton. I am a huge
I
fan.
have.
Read the books, watched the show, absolutely adore it. I think it's wonderful. Can't already wait for the next season. I saw the teaser trailer, so can't wait for that. But what really, really got me was the amount of news, media, whatever, saying that she wasn't the right person for a leading lady because of how she looked. I personally think she looks beautiful. Um, but that's how I feel things have been portrayed for far too long. That everything is body image. And it really, really upsets me.
I totally agree. I think it's gone from its swings and roundabouts, and I think that over decades, centuries even, the change in body image and what's in fashion and what's in style is always dictated, who's going to be popular for, leading ladies, who's going to be a star, who's going to be, on the front of newspapers. And we're in 2024. Why are we still focusing on what women look like rather
Yes.
than how talented they are? Like, are we really still living in this world of misogyny where an amazingly talented person who can blow other actresses and actors out of the park because of what her body looks like?
And the scene in Bridgerton where she does strip off and she's looking in the mirror, she looks incredible. Absolutely
Absolutely
incredible.
incredible. She looks like a normal person. She
Yes.
looks like what I would say the majority of women in this world look at when they look at themselves naked in a mirror.
Yes. She looks wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And I really, really do believe that the media has so much to answer for. Because she shouldn't have to come out and say anything about her body. But that's what the media is making people do. And it's awful because it really, really does mess with young girls' heads.
Oh god, yeah.
So
And
I
it's so
remember,
good that stars like her are actually standing up now and they're clapping back. They are
yes,
coming, and it's, you're seeing it more often than not, where there are, stars that are out there that are coming back and saying, don't talk about my body. Don't do this. I mean, Selena Gomez, for example,
yeah,
how often is she portrayed in the media because of her looks? And it's
yeah,
one way or another. She's too thin, she's too fat, she looks ill, she looks this, she looks that. And it's like, when are these women going to get a break? Like, are we just
yeah.
supposed to remove all women from any form of prominent position in the media world altogether for women to be able to get a break from being talked about how they look? Do we talk about men like that?
Nope.
Did
Did we? Was
anybody
it?
go on a rant about who was it? Was it Gerard Butler that put loads of weight on when he stopped doing films, and the guy from the Gladiator? Like, I don't remember that being like the talk of the town.
No, and I think it goes the other way as well. Like Victoria Beckham, or even like
Yes.
Kate Middleton at Wimbledon. At Wimbledon, she looked beautiful as always, but it was like, oh, they're too thin. So what do you
Yeah.
want from people? What do the media actually want us to look like? Because
Yeah.
we can't win. I
No.
think it was
No.
Scarlett Johansson who um, called an interviewer out. I'm gonna have to see if I can find that clip. But she called an interviewer out and said, "Why are you asking me about a corset or something? Did you
Yeah.
ask?"
Something to do with what
It was
she
during
wore.
the
Yeah.
Marvel films. Did you ask Robert Downey about X, Y, Z? or did you
Yeah.
ask him serious acting questions?
Yeah.
And it's
And I
it's
think it,
crazy.
you know, it goes so deep as well. Like I read an article about Victoria Beckham has actually banned Harper from any social media, just purely on the basis of the fact that she wants to protect her from essentially being witch hunted. And
Yeah.
that is what it is. It is a witch hunt.
'Cause
It is a witch hunt.
what is she like 11, 12?
Yeah, I think she must be around that age now. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
And it's like it's madness. Halsey, when they came, they were absolutely annihilated for being too thin and bit looking ill. And it did actually turn out that they were ill. They had a multitude of different diagnoses that had caused, weight loss, and looking tired and gaunt. And they had to come out and say, "Oh, hang on a minute, you know, I'm not well.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have
Yeah.
to be defending myself." Like
No.
it's crazy. It's the entire focus. I remember something similar when Amy Winehouse was very clearly going through like the throes of addiction and mental health struggles, and all they could focus on was what she looked like.
Yeah.
Instead
Instead
of
of
this
helping
poor
people who need the
girl
help.
who clearly needed help, very clearly needed help, and was absolutely destroyed in the press on a daily basis. And then it does make you wonder, sort of like, how far that pushed her in the other direction.
Yeah. I remember when I was younger, um, and this is something that stayed with me for years, it even still stays with me now. I remember watching Bridget Jones' Diary, and when Bridget Jones is writing in her diary how much she weighs, her height, how many cigarettes she smoked that day, whatever, whatever, what she's eaten, she weighed 136 pounds, I think it was, that she wrote down in a diary, which is
Hmm.
about 9.5 stone.
Yeah,
And they refer to her as the chubby Bridget Jones for nine and a
yeah,
half stone. That that is crazy. And I remember seeing that and thinking, oh, I'm about that. Does that mean I'm fat? And again, I was only young. And I was the bigger friend in our friends group because I've always had big boobs. So I was the bigger friend. And when somebody said to me, um, that I was the bigger friend, I was like, well, yeah, Bridget Jones says I'm fat. So
yeah,
it really, really stuck with me. And like I say, even now, it still sticks with me that I wasn't fat. I wish I had that figure still because I looked amazing as a younger kid. But I didn't realize that because the media then tells everyone else this is what you should look like.
yeah.
And that makes you think you're fat when you're not.
I think as well, we grew up in the era of the stick thin supermodel, the 90s waif. Kate
Yeah.
Moss was the icon. And I think, growing up in that day and age where that was such a big focus, and these women that just were naturally slim were the prominent faces that you would see on the magazines. And I'm so grateful that we didn't have such an internet, like social media presence when we were teenagers as we do now, because I think that it would have been awful growing up
I don't think
seeing
I would
that.
have coped. I would
No,
not have dealt with it.
no.
And
And it's
I think
like,
that it's been a lot.
yeah. And I just think that the pressure that these girls and women must have been under to be this image, and to look to this perfection. And I do think that we are lucky in the sense that there are a lot of women out there now that are curvier and that are more natural, that are, shouting from the rooftops and saying, "Don't talk about my body, talk about my talent. Don't look at what I'm wearing, listen to what I'm saying," which then gives me more confidence in knowing that my little girls are growing up in a world where women are standing up for themselves and their rights, and that they are not just something to look at. Delilah had a dancing show this weekend, so for the last 4 weeks, that's what our lives have been solely dedicated to. And obviously, because she's under these massive glaring stage lights, we've had to put a lot of effort into makeup, and she's 4. So when she asked me the question about whether she was beautiful when I put makeup on, what I said to her is, you are beautiful without makeup, but the makeup is so people can see you when the lights are shining on you. So all it does is make you look prettier than you already are. You are already beautiful. It just makes you look prettier under those lights so everybody in the room can see you rather than just the person that's in front of you. And that is it. I said, "Do you think Mummy looks beautiful without makeup?" And she's like, "Yeah, you look beautiful without makeup." And I'm like, "But I put makeup on because it makes me feel a little bit more special. But I know I'm still special, but it makes me just feel that little bit more special, like when you get up on the stage." And it's like having to have that conversation because that's how, even at 4 year old, my child thinks that she has to put makeup on. That's the only way you're beautiful, is if putting
Yeah.
makeup on makes you beautiful. There's that influence already there because that's, the second she puts it on, everybody's like, "Oh, you look so beautiful, you look so pretty." And it's my job now to make sure that she doesn't think that she only looks pretty when she's got that makeup on, that she looks
Yes.
beautiful and pretty in, whatever she does.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. It's so challenging when they're growing up in a world full of Love Island and, social media influencers that are, bikini clad, tanned, oiled
That can
up.
spend all day working out and have a private chef and
Yeah.
airbrush to hell. It's not fair for young kids.
So then, when there's people like Nicola who are extremely talented and extremely prominent and are confident enough to bear all on a screen, no matter what lumps, bumps, and bits they've got, it just tells me that we are changing the narrative. As women, we are changing the narrative. Like, I
Yes.
didn't feel rushed to lose weight after I had the girls, even though I look at myself sometimes and think, oh, I don't really like that about myself, but I don't feel unhealthy. I eat well, I exercise, I regularly get health checks so that I know that everything is working as it should be. And I don't want my girls to see me hiding that from them either.
Yes.
I'm comfortable getting in dressed in front of them. I'm comfortable with them seeing me in swimwear. I'm not going to hide under a baggy t-shirt or a caftan on the beach or at the pool because I want them to look at me and see confidence no matter what I look like. I want them to
I
see
think
that the
that's a,
scars that I've got on my body are from carrying them and giving birth to them.
yeah. And that's the big thing, it's the confidence. Like, I feel like so many things can knock the confidence out of you that then
Oh,
when you
yeah.
have to build yourself back up, it's so difficult. Like, even before we started recording today, I said to you it's absolutely roasting here because obviously I'm in Florida. It's humid as hell and it's just so hot. I can turn the air conditioning on, but it's right above me, so it's gonna blow and make a noise. I'm still sat here with a cardigan on. All right, it's a somewhat thin cardigan, but I am so self conscious still. Like, some days I can be
Yeah.
the most confident person in the world, and the next I need to cover my arms, I need to cover my bum, I need to cover my tummy, and I really don't need to.
No.
But it's in my head. It's really, really in my
Yes.
head that that's what I need to do,
I
and
mean, the
it's so
mindset must have
difficult.
been there because long sleeves in the heat.
We knew, we knew.
We knew, we knew.
And you see, like, some days I'll go to work and I don't sleep much. And I don't know if everyone knows, I'm a really bad sleeper now. I used to be a great sleeper. I could have like 8 hours a nap and still, be tired. So I used to be great at sleeping. Now I can't sleep at all. I maybe have 2 or 3 hours and that's it. And I'll go to work in the morning, and if I haven't put makeup on because I'm too tired to do anything, I'll get, oh, you don't look very well today. Are you okay? You
Yeah.
don't look great. And I'm like, this is just my face. Why do I this is just my face. I look tired, I look drained because that is my life. You know, stop. I think we need to stop saying to people, "Are you okay? You look tired. Are
Yeah,
you okay? You don't look well." Even if it's with the best interest, it's not
yeah.
necessarily because then it does hurt. It makes me think, shit. You know, what's
How
going on
rubbish
with
do
my
I
life?
look?
Yeah. And this week I wore color to work. I always wear black. Um, my favorite color is black, so I always wear black. And I wore this beautiful jumpsuit that's like white and blue. And the amount of comments I got, and I was like, how bad do I look on a daily basis that you have to comment that I look pretty today?
I
Like,
think, and
what's going
this
on?
is it, isn't it? Like I never wear makeup for work, and I've always got my hair scraped back in a bun. So if I make the effort to do something with my hair and put some makeup on, everybody's like, "Oh, where are you going? What are your
Yeah,
plans after work? Like, can I
yeah.
not
And I'm
just
like,
do
no, I
something
don't
to
know.
feel nice?"
Yes. Oh, this is a bit of a turn to where I thought this would go today, but I'm quite enjoying it still, so that's fine. Um, Going back to the media and more like TV and movies and things, do you think, I know that I've touched on Bridget Jones being one that really upset me as a kid and really affects me. Other than the Bridgerton stuff, have you found anything that's like the opposite end that builds you up, that makes you feel good, that you watch and you think that's just like me?
Um, no. I think how sad is that? Like I'm
Mhm.
37 years old, and I don't think there is a movie, a TV series, anything that I could watch and think that that body type, that the way that person look represents me.
Yeah,
And that is so sad. Like
yeah,
that we've now got this one person who and that I know there's been plus size models, Ashley Graham, if there's been, Rebel Wilson, Lizzo, all of these bigger women, but there's still there's still this need for thin and
do you know what
rather
I
than
find?
healthy.
Yes, what I find, because I like Melissa McCarthy. I
Yes,
think she's great. I love her in interviews. I think she's wonderful. My issue with plus size actors and actresses is they always say that they have to be the funny character. They have to be the comedy
yes,
character. How often are they the romantic interest? They always
never.
have to be the butt of people's jokes. And if you like flip the switch and it's a um, heavier male actor, um, they're always with a skinny wife and nothing gets said. It's just normal.
Yeah,
But it's never the opposite way around, or even just two bigger people. Um, I think Melissa McCarthy, when she was in Gilmore Girls, she was wonderful. She was somewhat of the funny character, but she had a story. I think
yeah,
that
she
may
still
be
had
the
her
only
place.
thing that I
Yeah,
could think. Like, you really, really have to really think about it. And other than that, I can't think of anyone. If I've misspoke, then I'm sorry, but I can't think of anyone else.
I think it's Roseanne. Back to our childhood.
Yeah,
She,
yeah,
it's again the comedy character,
yeah,
and I don't think it's just for bigger women either. I think that the portrayal, from you see a lot of TV programs where a black woman is the bullshit, the loud, they're over the
yeah,
top, the dramatic, and it's this stereotyping. It's stereotyping. Like we're all put into these boxes, to represent who we are. It's she's never going to be a Bond girl because of her shape, but why?
yeah,
She's never going to be the leading lady in this romance movie because of her shape or her skin color or because we've continually portrayed her in this stereotypical role that we now
Yeah.
can't change a character type because people won't be interested because she's not the funny girl anymore. She's the
Yeah.
serious girl.
I do think we are doing better with people of color. I think we're doing a lot
Yes.
better. But being the whitest person I know, I don't feel like I'm right to comment on that.
No,
Um,
no, I'd agree
I
with you on that one.
I would be interested to see somebody's point of view because I am always wanting to learn. So I don't feel like I'm the right person to comment on that. So I think that we're seeing more, but whether we actually are or not, or whether it's just because I'm noticing more as I'm older, I would be interested to speak to someone and find that out.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, from my perspective, I still think there's a lot of like, especially when you see a lot of these reality shows and stuff like that as well. It's like the token black person, the token Asian person. There's always a token slightly chubby
Same
person
with
as
like the
well.
disabled or the
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus
Yeah,
person
yeah. I think there's always a token person. And I
with a
think the
white face.
same goes for size. And
Yeah,
then those people are absolutely, annihilated. Shauna Phillips, for example, from Love Island. I don't know if you watched that
I've not
series.
seen it.
She had, I want to say it's lymphedema, where they get the swelling in the legs.
Oh, okay.
So she
Yeah,
was a slim girl, but because she's got this condition where she got water retention and swelling in her legs, and obviously in the heat, because I think it was the South Africa one that she was in, the winter Love Island, and that's all they talked about in the press. All they talked about in the press, and then she had to
that's
come
terrible.
out of there after being obviously blocked from any form of access of the outside world for all of those weeks to all of that, to the social media onslaught, to the media onslaught. Um, and it's like, how prepared are these girls going into these situations for what is about to come?
It's they don't know. They really. I really hope they get some sort of good counselling and some good support and therapy after they've been in these things. One of the things that I did see, I was just looking up really quickly while you was talking. Then, the Olympics, and I follow a lot of the Olympians on TikTok, social media, all that things, because I think they're incredible, absolutely incredible. There's one, and I'm going to butcher the name. I really do apologize. I think it's Ilona Mayer. I don't know if you've seen her. Obviously, being in America now, I see a lot of the American team and things. She is the USA Rugby Sevens, and the
Yeah, I
amount,
think, yeah,
yeah, she is stunning. She's like Amazonian. She's just
yeah,
that body type. She just looks great, absolutely amazing. The amount of comments that she has had, because obviously I've seen on like scrolling through things, the amount of comments that I've seen where she's had to defend herself because people say she just looks fat, she doesn't look athletic. She is
would they
stunning.
say that about a heavyweight boxer
No,
or a
no,
rugby player, a men's rugby player?
no,
And this is the thing, and this is why what I was talking about with like actors earlier on is you would not stand in front of Tyson Fury and say you're fat.
no, no.
You wouldn't. You're not going to say to him, you're not going to annihilate him in the press. I remember Ricky Hatton as a bar in Tenerife. And I remember seeing him when I was out there and it was off season and thinking, oh my God, he looked so bloated and so, like, but he just looked like a normal guy. And I didn't
Yeah,
come away from that thinking, oh my God, what a fat guy. How fat is he? I came away thinking he has spent work so hard, to keep at weight and to, the amount of intense training. What he's doing now, this is his downtime. So he's eating what he wants. He's drinking 10 pints a day. He's
yeah,
enjoying himself. He's letting loose. If a woman did that, they've let themselves go. They've totally
yeah.
let themselves go. Look at what they've done to themselves. How horrible is that? And I think it becomes a so I saw something recently about Pierce Brosnan's wife.
Oh yes, I was gonna bring that up
So
actually.
she, when they first got married, however many decades ago, was super slim, beautiful woman, absolutely stunning. She is a goddess. And now she is a normal shaped woman in her 50s
Yeah,
after having children.
yeah,
And the focus is not on her. The focus is on what a wonderful guy Pierce Brosnan must be to love his wife no matter what she looks like.
yeah.
Holy Mother of God.
That's
Like the
awful. That
man
is
loves
awful.
the man loves his wife. Why can't we just celebrate that instead of the fact that
Yeah.
he loves his wife even though she's now fat? Because that's essentially what they're saying.
That's
He
so
loves
sad.
his
I
wife
saw.
regardless of what she looks
Yeah.
like. He loves her for who she is.
Yes, and that's so different. Like I remember seeing Hugh Jackman when he broke up with his or split up with his wife when they separated. I remember somebody saying, "Oh, it's because she's let herself go." Well, it wasn't. And even if it was, what does it matter? That she's let herself go. Why are we bringing that up?
Yeah,
I get that when you're a celebrity, you do have that kind of your life is exposed a bit more. But even if it is, it doesn't matter that why are we focusing on oh they broke up because she's not as pretty, he can have prettier women, he can have slender women. Why are we talking about this? Who was the footballer whose wife deleted all the social media? The English footballer, Declan Rice.
I'm not
Was it
sure.
Declan Rice?
But she was a childhood sweetheart, wasn't she? And they were photographing
Yeah,
her. They were on a yacht,
yeah,
weren't they, in like the south of France or somewhere like that? And the press were destroying her because they were saying he could get any girl that he wanted. And here he is
yeah.
with this chubby girl on a boat, a girl that he'd been with since he was a teenager.
And she wasn't chubby, there was nothing wrong with her, she was absolutely
No,
beautiful. And this is what really, really makes me cross because they're just looking for a headline, and it's the headline that the kids see,
yeah,
and that's really, really scary. Like, when Delilah's old enough to understand what these words mean put together, that could break her heart.
yeah,
When my nieces and nephews see these things, that's not the world that I want them to be associating with. It's it really, really gets me. Really, really
yeah.
bubbles me.
But I think at the same time, that's where we have got to be the ones that shout from the rooftop. And even when it is hard to feel confident in yourself, show your kids, show the people around you, show those young women, young girls around you that you are confident in what you look like,
Yeah,
and not let your insecurities feed into them. The day that one of my children turns around and thinks they are fat will be the day that my heart breaks in two, because I just think, there's so much more to you as a person than your physical attributes. Being
yeah,
pretty doesn't make me good at my job.
yeah,
Having big boobs does not make me, a better salesperson or a better mum. you know, the way my husband looks at me is not going to last forever. I am going to be old and grey and wrinkled and have saggy bits here and there and everywhere. And I want my girls to see that he loves me from being in my late 20s to being in my 70s. And
yeah,
the changes that we go through over time aren't going to impact our marriage, because he loves me because of who I am, not because of what I look like. And I want them to feel that they get that from their relationships. And
yeah,
the press portrayal of, oh, and again back to the Pierce Brosnan, she must be a really wonderful person because he must really love her, because obviously she's changed, her body's changed so much, so let's applaud him for still loving her regardless of what she looks like, when he didn't, probably never fell for her because of the way she looked in the first place. He probably did fall for her because of who she is as a person, and who she is as a person hasn't changed. Her body has
yeah.
changed. and that has made absolutely zero difference to him. But again, at the same time, the fact that people actually talk to him about his wife like that, like I'm like, it blows my mind
Why
that
do
people
people
have
think
actually
that's
got the
okay?
cheek. Yeah,
Yeah. It's not okay. It is just not okay to do that. I don't
but I
care what
think
anyone says, it's not okay.
it boils down to pure misogyny, and I think that, in all honesty, I think it's only come over recent centuries, because if you look back at the Roman times and the Greek times and stuff like that, and these amazing statues and paintings, and you look at the women's bodies that are portrayed in these amazing pieces of art, they're not what we look at in the media.
They have
They're not
curves
what we
for
look at in
days.
movies. They are normal bodies. They have rolls, they have lumps and bumps, they have saggy boobs, you know, that even down to the portrayal of penis shape and size. They're all different, aren't they? There's no we look at these beautiful pieces of art as perfection, but yet we look at ourselves as imperfect.
Yeah.
And I think that that's because we've been indoctrinated over time of what perfect should be. And that has changed as well. I mean, if you think 1920s flapper girls, boy shaped figures, no breasts, no meat, literally stick thin, tiny girls. They strapped their boobs down so that they could wear these dresses and stuff like that without sort of like being in the way. And then you move into the 30s, and then you start to see curves come back in, the cinched waist, the rounder bums, the boobs, in that sort of style clothing. And that pretty much flowed through the 40s and the 50s with your Marilyn Monroe. And then the 60s it went back again. You got your skinny scrawny girls, long legs, short dresses. um and then the 70s sort of floated around that era. But I think, again, it's you see these images portrayed. Then I think in the 80s it went back to more athletic figures, the girls that you were seeing on front of, like, the Sports Illustrated magazines and stuff like that. The figures were more really, more athletic, more strong women. It was the bodies that were on the beaches in Miami and Brazil and stuff like that, where these beautiful curvaceous women, but they were strong. They were fit. They were physically fit, like the athletes that we're seeing in the Olympics. That was the body image of the 80s. And then we get to the 90s and it's back to the waist and, your Kate Mosses, like we talked about, your Naomi Campbells. It's literally these stick thing women, walking these catwalks. They were the faces of the 90s. And I think it depends on what's the fashion at the time,
Yeah.
like. And then the 2000s, I think it went back to curves again. The Victoria's Secrets models, they became sort of like the image portrayal, and they were curvy women. They had breasts, they had hips. And I think it changes so much. Like, you only have to look at the decades of fashion and the body image that fit with that fashion trend is where it all comes in. And then obviously the 2000s was the introduction of the Kardashians. You've got junk in your trunk, you've got boobs on show, you've got tiny skinny waist, but you've got hips and you've got breasts, like it. But again, at the same time, it's the introduction of, Botox, lip fillers, all
That's
all
stomach.
of the rest of it. This strive for perfection, but perfection changes every day. What
Yes.
someone's image of perfection against another person's image of perfection. And you see it in advertising, you see it in, everywhere. It is everywhere. And it has changed so dramatically. If you look at pictures of Marilyn Monroe, she had the round tummy, she had the the hips. But then if you look at if I don't know if you've watched the Kardashian episode where Kim Kardashian is
I don't really
fitting
watch
into
it.
Marilyn Monroe's dress, I mean, Kim Kardashian is literally tiny. She's waif like, but obviously she's got curves. Marilyn Monroe had curves. Could Kim Kardashian fit in that dress comfortably? Could she? Heck. So then we've looked back at those images of Marilyn Monroe and her being, this natural shape. But actually, she was really, really skinny. She was still really skinny, really
Wasn't
small,
she?
really petite.
wasn't she like a size 12?
I don't think she was. I don't think she could have been, because then why couldn't Kim Kardashian, who's obviously like
Yeah.
tiny, fit into
I
this
was convinced
dress?
that she was a size. See if I can
And
Google
this is
it.
the thing, and I think it's how it's portrayed to us, but actually in real life, she must have been really dainty and petite. But we have portrayed her as this curvy girl, the same as Renee Zellweger in Bridget Jones. And then
Yeah.
you just think, she was still only less than 10 stone when she filmed Bridget Jones's Diary, and she had to put weight on to film it. But then obviously every movie that she's been in after that, she's obviously been really, really slim. And you just think, well, to me, she looked really slim in Bridget Jones. Imagine how slim she is afterwards. And it's like these are thought processes that we're still having. And I will
Yeah.
I, I will look at some girls and think, oh my God, you look really ill. You're so thin, you look really ill. She might be. She
So
might be.
she,
When I'm there passing judgment,
yeah,
you just can't help it because that's what you're seeing every day.
she had a size, Marilyn Monroe, she had a size 22-inch waist and then 35-inch hips. So that's probably why she looked curvy, because it's saying that
Yeah,
she was at like a size 8, 10. Um, but she would have looked curvy because her waist was so little.
yeah, absolutely. And my nana talks. My nana restricts what she eats because she's got this obsession with the fact that she's gaining weight in her 80s, because naturally she's always been
That's
very
what
slim,
happens.
and she prides herself on the fact that she had an 18-inch waist, and that she could still fit in her wedding dress after she had my mum. And it's like, God. So I don't think it's just now. I think this body
Yeah.
image thing is something that's always been there, like, and the fact that this woman has gone through a heart attack and losing her husband, and you know raising two children and three grandchildren and a world war. This woman has been through a world war, and she's
Yeah.
still focused on what she looks like. She hates having a
That's
photo
crazy.
taken because she doesn't like what her skin looks like now. You have to
That is
catch her off
crazy.
guard to get pictures of her with the kids and stuff like that. And it's like, for somebody who's in their 80s and has been through so much, to still feel self-confident, lacking self-confidence about the way that she looks, is just, it's crazy. That's just the world that we live in.
Ridiculous. So I'm going to just tell you a few facts that I researched on. So the average, so this is based in America, obviously, because I'm over here, so a lot of my facts are American. But the average American woman is a size 16. The average English woman is a size 16, 18. So American 16 um, is like an 18, 20 in the
Hmm.
UK, and the average size UK is 16, 18 right now. Um, children, sorry, girls particular, as young as 6 are starting to be concerned. Like a study showed that it's from 6 years onwards. Um, what else is there on here? The biggest thing is fat shaming. It's the fat shaming that is saying it's leading to a lot of things. It leads to depression, anxiety, eating disorders. Um, but there is, the body positive movement, and it has gained a lot of momentum over the recent years, like we've said. So that's good. Um, it's just so scary that, the average size is a 16, but the media is showing you people that are size 6 and 8. So there's no wonder we're getting depressed and getting anxiety and getting
Hmm.
self conscious. What kind of things do you think going forward we should be doing?
I think that we should just be talking about talent. I think we should be talking about who a person is rather than what they look like. I think we should be celebrating successes, and not looking at being slim or beautiful or as a success, because
Yeah.
you can't help who you are. You can't. Your body shape is your body shape, and the fact that people starve themselves and run themselves ragged in a gym and stuff like that to try to emulate this image that's been put out there. I think, eat the cake, drink the wine,
Yeah. Yeah.
as long as it's in moderation, go for it. Why make yourself miserable I follow a girl on Instagram who I've known since she was younger, and she's a personal trainer. And you see a lot of these personal trainers online, like touting this, fad diets and all this exercise, and she's actually at her biggest, well, and not her biggest now, but she's at one of her biggest weights. When I knew her, she was very, very slim, very, very focused on fitness, active. And she has openly admitted now that she was miserable. She was starving
Yeah.
all the time. She was at her most depressed, her most anxious, because she was constantly, constantly trying to portray this personal trainer slim image. I look at her now and I think, my God, girl, like you have come on so much. And she is so strong, and she is not a size 10, but the confidence that she now has in herself, because has taken years for her to pull back up, and she's now putting that back into women. She's putting that back
Yeah.
in out there as a personal trainer, and there should be more people like her, more people like her, without a doubt. And I think how we talk about women, especially, I will walk up to a girl in the street who I think looks stunning, and I think their dress is amazing, and I will celebrate them, and I will say, "You look absolutely gorgeous. I love that dress. It looks beautiful on you." But at the same time, if I want to celebrate people's successes as well, if someone at work has an achievement, I want to celebrate that. If someone I know, a family member, a friend, has an achievement, I want to celebrate that, rather than just saying, "You look beautiful in that outfit on your picture where you're celebrating your graduation." No, no, no. How amazing is that you're graduating from university? Doesn't matter what
Yes.
they look like. Doesn't matter how pretty they look. And I've
It's
had to
not the
step outside of that,
yeah,
because I've
it's
always
not the
been
looks
one
that
to
have passed the
celebrate.
screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been one to celebrate people, and to straighten the crowns and to give them compliments and stuff like that, but I've find myself checking myself now to give the right type of compliment.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's makes sense. Um, I think we've talked about as much as we can physically talk about it right now. Have I missed anything?
I don't think so.
No, I think we did. I think we spoke about a lot just then. Um, what I will say is find your circle that is gonna straighten your crown, build you up, make you feel the best. It doesn't matter what you look like. You know, I know deep down I'm always going to feel like the biggest girl in the room, and I'm not usually. I lost all the weight and I still felt the biggest girl in the room. Um, you have to learn to find your confidence. And once you've got it, it may slip every now and again. Like I say, right now, I don't want to take the cardigan off, but the confidence will come back, and you have to find the people who are going to support you. The media is just made up. Not everything, obviously, but I mean, they're looking for a headline. They're not thinking about anyone else. You need to think about yourself, and that is the only way that we're going to win the war with ourselves, because it's a battle with yourself that you're facing. And once you learn how to do that, you'll be grand.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's all about, and it is challenging to build your self confidence up, especially if you feel, so unhappy with aspects of yourself. But you've got to love yourself. You've got to.
Yeah.
You've got to straighten your own crown. You've got to do it for you. You've got to do it for the future kids, the girls that are going to be out there that are going to be watching us. And they do. They do watch everything we do.
Oh, we do.
I'm not going to stand in front of a mirror anymore and pull myself apart, say I look fat, say I feel ugly today, because I'm raising two little girls that I want to be comfortable in their own skin, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah. And I
So
think
for
right now
me,
with
it's
the
even more
Olympics being
important.
on, it's going to be, yeah, definitely. I think right now with the Olympics being on, it's a great time to get the kids watching and see how
Yeah,
amazing these athletes are without having
yeah,
to wear makeup or skimpy clothes or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
they are out there doing something for their country and looking amazing. Not looking
Yeah, I
at
was the
being
same with the
amazing.
women's football. Same with the women's football. Me and Penny
Yeah,
sat and we watched so much of it because I was like, these girls are doing something that girls are told they shouldn't be doing. You know,
yeah.
like I think that it's what it's all about. I mean, I'd step away from the women's boxing and the UFC at the minute because I think I definitely don't want
Yeah,
Penny
but
going down
again,
that road.
practicing on each other.
Yeah, absolutely. They might have gone in that ring really pretty, but they didn't come out looking very pretty. Looking very strong.
Yeah, very strong. But that's what we need to do. We need to be strong. We need to be brave. We need to be confident, and
Yes.
it's learning how to do that.
Starts with us. Starts with
Yeah,
us. And I think that's the one thing that I would have to say that bothers me so much about this conversation is when you look through those comments, how many of them are women.
yeah.
How many women are pulling down
Why
other
do we have
women
to knock each
still?
other down?
Hmm.
Why can't we
We
just build
are
each other up?
already got the the lower rung on the ladder. So why are we not shouting more for each other? That's what horrifies me when I read some of these
Yeah,
comments.
yeah. Somebody must be really, really, really upset with themselves.
Oh yeah.
And that's like what I have to keep thinking. These people just don't have confidence in themselves to be able to, and they wouldn't ever say it to them their face. It's
No.
always behind a screen, behind a phone, behind a
Yeah.
keyboard. Nobody will say it to
But
their
do you know
face.
what? People can lose weight. People can wear
They
makeup.
can,
People can get plastic surgery. These trolls cannot change their personalities. They will always be
no,
ugly on the inside.
and that's what the kids need to remember as well. Is
Hmm.
these bullies, because that's what they are. They are bullies. They can't change what's happening inside, or they could if they wanted to, but they'll have to really learn that it's not okay. I think we'll leave it
Yep.
at that. Before I rant about bullies for an hour,
I
because
know. I
that's,
know.
oh, I could do that. Jeez. Um,
Well, thanks so much
as
for having
always,
me.
you're welcome. Thank you for coming. We have quite a few episodes lined up with Stacey, so hope you don't get bored of either of our voices because it's not going away anytime soon. We have
Sorry.
discussed. We've got I'm not complaining. We have 5 or 6 good topics that we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks. I know it's been a little bit of a hit and miss, but we're going to be getting there. We've had a lot going on. Just briefly, I know this isn't on topic, but we're going through fertility treatment. It's very good right now. I'm ridiculously hormonal. I'm not pregnant before anyone asks, but we are going through the process. It makes me cry constantly. Stacey's moving house, so we're a little bit here, there, and everywhere. So bear with us, but the next 4 or 5 episodes at least are going to be really, really good that you're going to really want to stick around for. And as always, if anyone wants to get in touch, anyone wants any support, we're here to help. So please get in touch. And until next time, thanks.